Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC 278, Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards for the welterweight title, Paulo Costa versus Luke Rockhold in the co-main event, and we got Fred and AJ with me here. So let's start the show.
Let's go!
It's AJ's main event. Costa and Rockhold. I know AJ's pumped for that, AJ. How pumped are you for your two favorite middleweights of all time doing battle against each other in the octagon? I don't know who you're going to choose. Who will AJ pick to win? And whoever it is, bet against him, because last week we had a hell of a time making our picks. We did not do so well. Team Dave Parlay was all losers. I think I gave you 3 fights, and they all lost somehow. So, you know, hopefully we'll get a better week this week. I'm hoping. AJ gave us a lot of losers last week too, didn't he?
No.
He gave us some losers. Mostly losers.
No, not at all.
No.
Listen, I gave you the winner, Vera, and that's what I gave you.
What about like the rest of your parlay? How'd that go?
It wasn't so bad. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Okay.
I'm just trying to look back, you know. Anyways, what's up, homie? Freddie, you know what? I thought you were wearing a Philadelphia Flyers shirt at first. I had to do a double take.
Waylon Jennings. There you go.
Close enough.
You got to recognize the flying W.
Close enough.
Close enough? A hockey team or a country singer? Yeah, close enough. It's orange. The shirt is orange, so I guess in AJ's world, close enough. Thank you for renewing. Don't forget to become a member. Join.ringsidereport.net. If you have not become a member already, join.ringsidereport.net. Shout out to Angelo Contagonis.
Angelo!
Member of the team. Hello, Angelo. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch.
Thanks.
Did I cover them all? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch?
Twitter, Instagram. So. We got Instagram.
I don't think we're live on Instagram, though, AJ. We're live right now on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, is what I'm trying to say. Everybody joining us here or joining us, later. Now or later, however you watch this thing. UFC 278, we're going to be doing a watch-along for that Saturday night.
Thanks.
And we'll give you some picks, and we'll see how we do. For UFC 278, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be watching the pay-per-view with you here on Saturday. And it's the first one of these in a while where there isn't a WWE pay-per-view at the same time to go along with it. I like those WWE UFC shows, the double whammy that we were doing. That was fun. But now it's just a UFC pay-per-view, which seems all right, I guess. But
that means no Johnny.
No Johnny.
Unless he wants to come, man.
PFL's doing a show on Saturday night, PFL 9.
Man, Olivier is very close to winning some big money, man. Oof.
Yes. Good friend of the show.
Looking good.
Olivier Aubin-Mercier, one of the best fighters in Canada right now. He is headed to the finals of the PFL. He'll take on Stevie Ray for $1 million. That fight will take place in November. And our friend of the show as well, a guy that I've interviewed many times, followed his career, fought in the PFL, lost his PFL fight last weekend, Rory MacDonald, deciding to retire from MMA at just 33 years of age. Rory has lost a few fights. I'm surprised. I'm looking at his record now. He's lost quite a few fights recently. A little bit surprised at how it's all gone down in the PFL for Rory MacDonald. I would have thought he would get more success. I still see him as one of the best welterweights out there, but I guess, nobody lasts forever. He was one of the top guys at 170 in the UFC for a very long time, and he'd been fighting as a pro since, I think, the age of 14 or 16.
He's been fighting 16. Pro 13 years, man.
Yeah, that's a long time. No, more than that.
More than that. He started at 16.
Yeah, 16 years old.
2005, his first fight, and he's born in 89. So, 16.
Yeah, but he's been fighting professionally since 2015. So, listen, man, it's been a long career.
2005.
That's what I just said.
Who are you looking at, AJ?
Rory
MacDonald?
Not his professional career, dude.
What?
When was his first professional fight? Simple question. Was it in 2005? Could it be? It
Yes.
is. Okay.
Yes.
Don't spend too much time on
AJ,
it.
you don't have to debate that because by
I'm
2015,
just trying to think.
he fought Robbie Lawler for the world title.
Oh,
That wasn't his
that's
first
right.
pro
He came
fight.
back. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm looking at his record right now in front of me.
Yes,
I don't know
his
why
debut
you
was
think...
back in 2015. Yes, sorry.
What?
Forget it. Just go ahead. Anyways,
Okay.
all to say is this. I thought he was going to end up back in the UFC at some point. That was my take. I really was hoping somehow or another he would make it back into the UFC and come back and become champion. It's disappointing that I can't see that happening, but you never know, man. Anything's possible.
I didn't
he
expect him to
retired,
go
but-
2-4 in the PFL. That's a little
Yeah.
bit surprising. And also, I'll say, like, look, in recent years, man, I don't follow all the news as much as I used to, but I feel like Rory MacDonald, people a little bit forgot about him, or I don't know, maybe it's because his record wasn't that good in recent years, but it feels like, he fought the other day and I didn't even know he was fighting. I feel there was... This guy used to be like, oh, this is the guy that's going to be the champion after GSP. And
Right.
and his career, he
Freddie,
had great success,
Freddie.
great career. But in
Freddie,
recent years,
it's easy.
it felt like he wasn't important no more.
He went to
But it's
Bellator.
easy.
After the UFC, he went to Bellator. He had some success there. He became the Bellator welterweight champion. He
But Dave,
won a
let's be
few
honest.
fights, and then he lost the Bellator title to Douglas Lima, went to the PFL, and he struggled there in the PFL from 2021 to this year. Past couple of years, he's fought quite a bit, and that's the deal in the PFL. They have that tournament system where you're fighting a lot, and maybe that wasn't ideal for Rory at this stage of his career, but he did go 2-4 in the PFL over the past couple of years. But that's a lot too, man. 6 fights. He fought
But Dave,
6
let me answer
times
Fred.
in just over a calendar year. From April 2021 to August 2022, Rory MacDonald had to fight 6 times. Like, that's a lot for a guy who's been fighting as a pro since 2005. It's a lot, and it maybe wasn't the best promotion for him at this stage in the game. Maybe with more time between fights, more time to prepare, more camp time, more rest time, he would have won more fights over the past couple of years.
But you know what? Let me answer Fred. I'm going to give it to you very simple. And you guys could listen. I love Bellator. I love the PFL, but it's not the UFC. And just to answer Freddie, it's a very simple thing. Once you're not in the UFC, people start to forget you. Just like Demetrius Johnson and all the rest. You can't even tell me when his next fights or what the hell's happening with him in his career. The thing is that you get lost when you're not in the UFC. The UFC is the Super Bowl of fighting. And that's a given. You can't get any more like promotions or visibility than the UFC. And that's the thing. If Rory was in the UFC and he would have fought 6 times in the UFC, holy smokes, man, everybody would know who Rory MacDonald is. And it's a shame because he was
but the
probably
UFC
the
would
best
never do
fighter.
that.
They would never do that, but it doesn't matter. Even the 1 fight per year or the 1 fight every 2 years, you're still going to be a name. You're still a relevant name. Sure,
for sure.
Sure, but you around the world, and that's the thing. And it's a shame that Rory left the UFC at a time when I think he could have been a really powerful name to carry through, and he still would have been fighting today. I'm telling you, he would have been interesting. Here's Luke Rockhold. He's coming back, and more people know Luke than they'll know Rory at this point.
I think Rory got to a point in his UFC career where he figured maybe this is kind of where it ends, and Bellator made him a better offer. I think he figured, hey, this isn't going to last forever. Make as much money as you possibly can while you can, and even if the eyeballs aren't on Bellator, the paycheck is there, and that is really why some of these big-name guys wind up leaving some of the UFC, right, and go to some of these other promotions like Bellator, PFL. It's because they're getting paid more. You know, you can say, UFC is the main show, and it is, and you're not wrong about that. But when you're a man with a family and people are saying, well, here you'll be more famous, but over here you'll make more money, a lot of times you take more money. And I don't blame him for doing that. Maybe PFL should have protected their asset a little bit more with Rory MacDonald, but PFL just kind of throws you into the fire and lets you figure it out. You know, it's not a. I don't think it's a veterans promotion. It's a young man's game. The PFL. It's a lot of fights in a short amount of time. 6 fights in a year. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. And he didn't win a lot of them. You know, it's
man.
Yeah, and that's not Rory MacDonald's style. It was maybe not the best place for him, but he decides to retire from MMA. He's had an amazing career. Fred, what's your favorite Rory MacDonald fight or moment in the UFC? Do you have one?
Well, I mean, the fight with Robbie Lawler, of course, was an incredible moment, but when he manhandled Nate Diaz was also one of my favorite moments with it. The way he just, he destroyed Nate Diaz in Toronto it was, and that was one of his marquee wins.
Yeah, that was amazing, just suplexing Nate Diaz all around the ring. And that was when Nate Diaz was trying to fight at 170, and Rory MacDonald showed him, 170 is not the place for you. You better go back down to 155. And
that's what Khamzat might do, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, Khamzat's going to tell him the UFC's not the place for you. You better go fight Jake Paul or something, right? But yeah, Rory, he had so many big wins, so many big fights. The Robbie Lawler fight, of course, was incredible. That's the one that people remember. We put a poll out at Ringside Report on Twitter. What's your favorite Rory fight? And overwhelmingly voted Robbie Lawler as everybody's favorite. He had a nice performance win over BJ Penn as well. Damian Maia. That was a really impressive fight when he beat Damian Maia because Maia shut him down in the first round. I think mounted him even, and it looked like Rory was in trouble, but then Rory came back, didn't get taken down, stayed on top, and won the second and third round and wound up beating Maia by decision. It was a really impressive performance because not a lot of guys come back from Damian Maia's mount and live to tell the tale, and let alone win the fight, right? He came back, and Maia was in full force in 2014 when they fought. And, of course, he beat Tyron Woodley at UFC 174 and then fought Tarek Saffiedine and then fought Robbie Lawler for the belt. And then he lost by TKO in the 5th round. He fought Robbie twice. Both fights were incredible. The second one is the craziest one.
I was lucky to watch him live when we were in Ottawa when he fought against Wonderboy. That was an amazing fight, man. And Rory was doing good. He looked good till he did that front roll where he was trying to grab a leg lock, and it kind of backfired on him. And then Wonderboy just came in and just punished him. And I think that was just the beginning of the end for Rory. In the UFC, I could see he just started to change from that point on. But watching this guy fight live, man, he was so creative. It was incredible. And you know what? That was a hard fight, because I love Rory and I loved Wonderboy, and the matchup was so interesting. But I just remember that front roll, going for that leg lock, roll into the leg lock. It just didn't work, and that was the end of the fight for him. But, man, if you look at his career from there, man, he kept winning and losing, winning and losing, and winning and losing, and it's too bad, It's too bad for Rory because I think he's one of the greatest fighters, that ever came out of Canada, him and George. And is
he the second best? I've seen some people say, Rory, second best Canadian MMA fighter of all time. Is he?
Who's the other argument?
I think you could throw in, George is obviously the first. George St. Pierre is number 1. I think that Patrick Cote is in the mix. Patrick fought for the belt, too.
Yep.
Carlos Newton is the first UFC champion from Canada. You might throw him in there. I don't know.
Dominick. But no, Rory is the second best Canadian,
yeah.
I'd say.
I think Rory is the second best, yeah. Olivier, though, I'll tell you, he wins this PFL thing, has a little run in the PFL. We might say Olivier one day. Might say Charles Jourdain one day, or Yoann Lainesse or Marc-Andre Barriault. But Rory definitely left his mark in Canadian MMA. I'll tell you, he was not an easy man to interview. I interviewed Rory quite a few times. It was not easy.
But he started at 16. Give him a break on that, man.
What do you mean? In what sense?
Start that young. He maybe wasn't the greatest social talker, but he's a young man, man. It's not easy at that age. I'll give him a break.
He wasn't 16 when I interviewed him, Fred. He was in his mid to late 20s. A few times, and we followed Rory's career because he trained here in Montreal, and we got to talk to Rory a lot. And it was always great talking to Rory, but it just kind of, you got the feeling that he didn't like that part of the job. You know, he liked fighting and everything, but the media part, answering questions, he even said it, like, he didn't like it. He didn't really enjoy.
I mean, 7 years
being
ago,
the
in
star.
his last UFC fight, he was 26, man. He was still a young man.
Okay.
And people would always bug him about GSP and all that, man. And honestly, I think he dealt with it great because people always wanted him to fight GSP.
Right.
And he was always a humble teammate, a great teammate to GSP. I'm sure if GSP were to say things on Rory, he would say that Rory was a great teammate. So props to Rory. Great career. Second best Canadian out there.
Yep, I agree. Excellent career. Awesome fighter. 33 years old. He gets to retire, man. I hope post-fight life is good for him and everything's good. I think it's always good when people get to retire at 33 years old. It's like, yeah. I hope it's like a real retirement where he's just on a beach somewhere. He doesn't have to do anything for the rest of his life. That's pretty good.
Hey, man, listen, he's still young enough to come back. Let's be honest. We've seen that before, so
Let's be honest.
it's
Why wouldn't we
possible.
be honest? I agree.
Look, I'd love to see Rory come back in the UFC, man. This might be the chance. You know,
what?
step out
That's
for
why
a
we
year.
enjoy life.
This might be the chance.
Yeah,
He's
man,
5
step out
and
for
8
a year.
outside of the UFC, man. Since he left the UFC, he's 5 and 8. I mean, Dana White's not interested in Rory. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I don't think he'd pay him enough at this point. The PFL has a show on Saturday. Do you want to know who's fighting?
Yep.
Anybody I know?
Kayla Harrison.
Oh, I guess who?
Okay.
Martina Jindrova.
Jabroniva?
Yeah, she's going to lose to Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is a big favorite, I would assume. And that's kind of it. Chris Wade is fighting Brendan Loughnane, and Ryoji Kudo is fighting Bubba Jenkins in the featherweight tournament semifinals. Harrison and Jindrova is the lightweight tournament semifinal. The other one will be Larissa Pacheco against Olena Kolesnik. So that's the PFL going down on Saturday night, guys. You
Kayla Harrison is a minus 5,000
excited?
favorite on Bet99.
Yep. Sounds about right, though, right? I mean, seems accurate. Gigantic favorite. Ridiculous favorite. That's
Man, nothing wrong with putting a few bucks on the underdog there. Let me tell you.
Well, I mean, you'll lose the money, so I think there's something wrong with it. Kayla Harrison is 100% winning. Do you think she's going to lose, AJ?
Man, look, it's a classic striker versus a grappler, man. Anything could happen. If her striking game doesn't pan out and she's on the ground, she could lose to
If you
this
really
girl.
believe that, just put $10 on her opponent.
I am, man. I'm going to put it down
You're not.
because when
You're
the
lying.
odds are that I'm telling you, I'm going to do it, man.
You're a big liar.
Listen, if it was striker to striker, like for sure, like, you know, Harrison's going to win. But, you know, striker and grappler, man, there always could be, like, room for error. And, again, if she's on the ground, man, I don't think she has, you know, what it takes to beat this girl. On the ground, anyways, but they got to get there. But it's possible, man, I'm telling you, you know.
$10
This is
on
one of those-
Jindrova, and you win $150 if she wins for a $10 bet on Jindrova over Harrison. So if you really believe it, AJ, go ahead. Bet99.com.
Listen, man,
Bet with us. Use the promo code
That's
Ringside.
it, man. Go for it, man. You have nothing to lose. $10. It's a good turnout.
Well, you have $10 to lose, AJ. The point is not to lose money, to win money. And you will definitely
Listen,
lose
man,
money.
it's
I mean,
all
I
about
would
the
rather
fun,
put
Dave.
the $10 on Kayla Harrison because I know that I will definitely win.
How much does $10 give you?
Oh, probably like 5 cents. Probably nothing.
$1.50?
Yeah,
like
let's
that?
see.
50 cents.
$10 gets you 20 cents. I would rather bet the $10 on Kayla Harrison and get a guaranteed 20 cents than bet $10 on her opponent and lose $10. See what I'm saying? Logic. AJ doesn't like it. AJ's mad. AJ, you mad?
No, I'm cool with that, man. Listen, man, to each their own, man. I'm just saying.
Come on, AJ. Parlay Kayla.
I
and
am
Luke
gonna put it
Rockhold.
down.
Yeah,
That's
put
what
a
you need to
Kayla
do.
parlay.
Well,
Yeah,
that-
add it to your parlay.
$10,
AJ.
man. $10 on that, man, brings you some good money.
Jeez. Nice win for Marlon Vera last weekend. Knocked out Dominick Cruz. Fight was going pretty well.
I told you guys.
It was a close fight, and then it wasn't a close fight, and Cruz went down. I think Cruz maybe won 2 rounds of that fight. They were in the 4th. I thought Cruz won the first couple. Vera won the 3rd, and the 4th was going pretty close. But then Vera ended it, left no doubt at all. And AJ told us, apparently, I don't remember that, but I believe you. I believe you. You told us about some other people winning and they lost, so I don't know, but okay.
You guys.
Yeah, we are guys. So Vera beats Dominick Cruz. Nice win there for Marlon Vera. Dominick Cruz, a legend of the game, the greatest bantamweight in the history of the sport. And Vera just the second man to knock out Dominick Cruz in his career. Cruz has now lost 3 of his last 5. I don't know. I don't know if he retires. I don't know if he keeps going. He's 37 years old. He's been fighting for a long time. Didn't seem like he was retiring, but you never know. He's got a good broadcasting career going for him. Seems like a time where you could retire, right? If you're Dominick Cruz, seems about a good time, but he's still effective. But I don't know if his chin is the same as it was. He got dropped quite a few times in that fight, and I don't know if younger Dominick Cruz gets dropped as much as he did. I mean, it was a clean knockout. It was a nice kick from Marlon Vera, but Cruz took a lot of damage in that fight and looked like he got hurt quite a few times. Even though he came back and won some of those rounds, he still got hurt and dropped. And it seemed like maybe that's an issue for him. It happened to him in his last fight, too, against Munoz. Happened here again against Vera, and it finished him. Munoz wasn't able to capitalize and put Cruz out when he dropped him, but Vera eventually got to him. It was like a matter of time. Vera was trying to catch up to him, and Cruz was doing this stuff and avoiding. Still, when he got clipped, though, he'd go down, but he'd pop back up and be all right. And then eventually I was like, this is shaky. And then eventually in the 4th round, Vera caught him with that kick, and Cruz couldn't pop back up. It was over.
Nasty kick, man.
It was nice. It was a nice kick from Vera. It broke his nose. And let me tell you, man, that was a great fight, man. But you're right. He kept going down so many times where a few times I was like, I hope the ref jumps in and stops the fight, because it looked like it was just going too far, and boom. They let him go. I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. When he started circling, he just walked right into that kick, man. And boy, oh boy, man, that was right on the button, man, as they say.
I don't know if he's going to retire. I'm always like, if you want to continue, man. You could still make a good living and all that. All I'm going to say is I don't think we're going to ever talk about Dominick Cruz again being a title contender or a player in the division. If you remember a couple of years back, man, he got a title shot against Henry Cejudo, and he got that title shot on the last second, mostly because of his name. And I don't think these days, he would be in that discussion. Right now, he's been on a downfall. 37, I think he is. Let's be honest, man, 37 it's getting up there. Great fighter, future Hall of Famer. Loved watching him. And if he continues to fight, I'll continue watching him. But I don't expect him to be a contender again.
Well, he's ranked number 8 at this point, so,
Yeah, he may be ranked number 8, but he's not going to beat number 7 to 1. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he beats 9 and 10. I just feel like Fred is dead on in his assessment. Cruz in a championship conversation seems over at this point, and the question is, does he want to keep fighting with that being a fact?
Make him fight Frankie Edgar. Make some fun fights like that.
Yeah, I mean, if the UFC wants to do that and make it interesting, go ahead. But if they're going to put him in there against, Merab Dvalishvili or something, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? How about if Aldo loses to Merab Dvalishvili on Saturday night? Okay, Aldo's a 135er now. This is a fight at 135 that Aldo is not supposed to win. He's the underdog. If he does lose, how about Aldo and Cruz? I mean,
That could be good.
fights like that.
Yeah.
Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo, guys that are in his range. You know, the superstar division, the legends division. Do fights like that. If Dominick Cruz wants to keep fighting, that's the type of stuff I want to see. I don't want to see him fight a young, hungry lion that's going to knock him out again. That's not how I like to see the legends go out, but sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes that's how the UFC deals with you. We'll see what they do with Dominick Cruz. But Aldo would be good. I'd like that. Unless Aldo wins.
He has a chance.
Which he has a chance. Let's get to it. UFC 278, Saturday night. Let's preview that shit. Kamaru Usman. He's the Usman. He's he's fighting Leon Edwards. I started thinking about Usman. I started thinking about the Usos, and I started thinking about wrestling. Going to SmackDown tomorrow night, boys. SmackDown?
Good.
Yeah, at the
Wow.
Bell Center. No wrestling show tomorrow night because I'm going to be at SmackDown. So there's no Wrestling Uncensored tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on the network here because I'm going to be at SmackDown. But we will be on Saturday night for the UFC watch-along, and I'll tell you my thoughts on SmackDown then. Give you my experience on SmackDown, and maybe we'll do a special for the wrestling fans. AEW Dynamite was pretty awesome this week. I feel like I should talk about it. They finally had all their key players back, Fred. They had CM Punk, they had Bryan Danielson, and Kenny Omega all on the show.
Yeah, but I'm reading CM Punk ain't happy right now.
He's not happy with what? He's a world champion.
I don't know, he
Everybody
doesn't
seems
like-
mad at him. Everybody seems
Why?
mad at CM Punk. All the wrestlers seem very upset with CM Punk.
Yeah, he's
called
the only
out-
guy who was. Come on,
He
man.
called
He's had
out
balls to get
Hangman
into the
Page.
UFC.
He called out Hangman Page, and apparently nobody knew he was going to call out Hangman, and Hangman didn't show up because he wasn't there or wasn't supposed to come out. Man, he cut a promo on
Dave,
John
if you're
Moxley.
if you're not in my basement in 2 minutes, Dave, man, you're a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it was, right? And CM Punk cut a promo on John Moxley because he's going to wrestle Moxley next week on Dynamite. And he said some real good shit about John Moxley. He was like, "Oh, Moxley, you're the third best guy. You're the third best guy in your own group." And that seems to be a recurring theme in your career because it's the same here in AEW. So he's talking about Moxley when he was in the Shield. He's the third best guy in that group because Seth and Roman are better than him. And now in his Blackpool Combat Club, he's with Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli, and he's the third best guy there, obviously. So, I mean, he was just going hard at John Moxley. It was a tremendous promo. Moxley came back, said some good stuff about Punk. It was really, really good stuff. Bryan
They're gonna fight
Danielson.
on free TV.
Yeah, I don't know. The wrestling is supposed to be at the pay-per-view, but they're not waiting. They're doing it next week on TV, and then I don't know what's going to happen. I figure they have a non-finish, and they do a gimmick match at the pay-per-view. Like, you know, they can't have a finish, double count-out, double DQ, and then you set up a no-rules match at the pay-per-view, possibly. But, yeah, Punk was going hard last night. It was pretty good. I was enjoying it. He said Eddie Kingston is the third best Eddie he stepped in the ring with, and the second best Kingston he spent the locker room with. Second best Kingston. Obviously, Kofi Kingston way better than Eddie Kingston, like by a lot. By a lot, Kofi Kingston. Anyways, that's your little bit of
Are they
wrestling
related?
talk. Huh?
Are they related?
Eddie wishes. He wishes he was related to the cool-ass Kofi Kingston. I don't think Kingston is either of their real names. And the main event, Kenny Omega came back, which was pretty cool because Kenny Omega, you know, he's really good. So that was good. I like that. You don't like Kenny Omega, Fred? What?
Yeah,
Oh.
not
All
crazy
right.
about him. I don't think he has the look. Vince McMahon would never put the title on him.
Thank you.
Well, Vince McMahon isn't in charge anymore, so who cares what Vince McMahon thinks? I bet you Triple H would put the title on him in a heartbeat. Yeah, yes, I would. He totally would. Are you kidding me? Triple H would for sure put the title on Kenny Omega. Triple H loves those kind of guys. Triple H idolizes Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. He likes guys that can work. He doesn't need the body. Triple H was a body because he wanted Vince's approval so he could be the top guy. But Triple H, what he really likes is guys like Adam Cole and Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor and those types of wrestlers, Kevin Owens. He's a wrestler's wrestler. WWE is changing. It's not the big body guys anymore. And I'm going to go acknowledge the Tribal Chief tomorrow night at the Bell Center. SmackDown in Montreal, baby! All right, we'll preview the thing. Let's preview the thing. Usman versus Edwards. AJ, does Leon Edwards have a shot?
Man, look, anybody has a shot, and I was happy to watch the pre-fight conference. And let me tell you, man, that's where I'm starting to look at really who I'm going to start going with over the other fighter. And let me tell you, Edwards is big, man. You admitted it. Freddie admitted it. I thought he was bigger, but he looked like a little bit too much bigger at this point. I don't know, like you said, maybe he was wearing like high tops or 2-inch like soles or whatever, man. But he kind of towered over Usman.
Yeah,
he did, and I forgot about that in the first fight, like way back. I had to look at it. It didn't seem that he was much taller. But the thing is that it was mostly like, down to the ground kind of fight. But let me tell you, the thing with Edwards is that with that height, I keep thinking of his elbows. And this guy always has these vicious elbows in the clinch. And if he can throw vicious elbows and really like mess up Usman, it could be a totally different game. All that said is that he's fighting Usman. And Usman has gotten better and much better than just his grappling from the first time they met back in, 2015? Mm-hmm. It's a different game today. It's 2022. Usman is a beast. And you can see him tonight at the conference, man. He took off his shirt. The guy is ripped. Cutting weight for this guy is like absolutely no problem, man. And he's going to be a lot bigger than what we see tonight, that we're going to get on Saturday night. But it's going to be an interesting fight. I think it's going to be like a little bit more competitive in a sense for Edwards. But you know what? The guy's a beast. Edwards is on a 10-fight winning streak, man.
Yeah.
Hasn't lost since 2015. Let's not forget
Usman. The last guy to beat him was Usman. He's beat everybody else. After he lost to Usman in 2015, these are the guys he beat: Dominic Waters, Albert Tumanov, Vicente Luque, Brian Barberena, Peter Sabata, Donald Cerrone, Gunnar Nelson, Rafael Dos Anjos, and Nate Diaz. Since Kamaru Usman beat Leon Edwards, these are the guys that Kamaru Usman has faced and defeated because he's on a 19-fight win streak, undefeated in the UFC. After he beat Leon Edwards, he beat Alexander Yakovlev, Worley Alves, Sean Strickland, Sergio Moraes, Emil Weber-Meek, Damian Maia, Rafael Dos Anjos, Tyron Woodley, Kobe Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, Kobe Covington.
Crazy.
It's quite a resume. It's pretty damn impressive. But Usman, 6 feet tall, 35 years old. Leon Edwards, 6'2", 30 years old. Double advantage there for Leon Edwards. Taller, younger. Usman, 35, he's about to exit the prime of his career. Leon Edwards, 30 years old, he's just about entering the prime of his career. But I think Usman is way better at everything in MMA than Leon Edwards. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's better conditioned. I think he's stronger. And I even think he's a better striker at this point in their game. That's how far Kamaru Usman's striking has come. He is so good and so powerful. That knockout of Jorge Masvidal, I don't know if Leon Edwards does that. I don't know. Leon Edwards, to me, looked sharp against Nate Diaz, picked Nate Diaz apart, but couldn't finish the job with Nate Diaz. Couldn't finish the job with Dos Anjos. Couldn't finish the job with Gunnar Nelson. Got the wins, but couldn't finish the job with Donald Cerrone. He's beaten guys, but just beaten guys. He's not finishing guys. He's not putting guys away. He's not knocking people out. He doesn't have that extra element of danger that I think you need to dethrone one of these champions that's been there forever, that knows every trick in the book, that knows how to stay on top, that knows how to win the big fight. And if you look back at that Nate Diaz fight again with Leon Edwards, he looked like shit in the 5th round. He looked like he was about to get knocked out by Nate Diaz in the 5th round of the fight. And this is the man about to step in against Kamaru Usman. Nate Diaz, you know, is 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He's not very active. He's lost a lot. You got to be able to do better against Nate Diaz at this stage in the game if you're going to make me believe that you can beat Kamaru Usman. I don't believe in Leon Edwards. I just don't buy into it. I know he's got all these advantages, and people say he's a better striker than Usman. I don't believe that. I don't even believe that.
If he is, can you win a decision?
I don't think so. I think he gasses out. I think Kamaru puts too much pressure on him. So Leon defends 1 takedown, defends the 2nd takedown. Will he defend the 3rd, the 4th? Will he defend the takedowns in the 3rd round, in the 4th round, in the 5th round? Because if he looks as gassed as he was in the 5th round against Kamaru Usman as he did against Nate Diaz, he's going to get finished in that 5th round. Because if Nate Diaz is this close to finishing you in that 5th championship round, what do you think Kamaru Usman's going to do? I got Usman winning this fight. I don't know how he's going to do it. This could go to a decision. It could. But I could also see Kamaru Usman knocking this guy out in the 2nd, 3rd round. I could see it ending quick. I could see Usman winning by many different ways. He could submit him. He could take him down. He could take his back. He could rear naked choke him. I could see a submission. I could see just a clean right hand putting him out. I could see him grinding a decision where it's like 3-2 and Leon looks good in a couple rounds. There's a lot of different scenarios, but every scenario that I play out in my mind has Kamaru Usman winning at the end.
Listen, man, you got a point there. There's one thing with Usman, man, and his striking game has improved so much. And it doesn't matter if you're a southpaw. He's faced many southpaws. He's fought Edwards before as a southpaw. Did really well against him. He fought Covington. He did really well against him. Look, man, his jobs against Gilbert Burns was phenomenal. And that's one thing with Usman. He's coming out not just to show his grappling game that we know he can devastate anybody, but his stand-up game is so good, man. Just his jab game. Man, look what he did to Gilbert Burns. Yeah, Gilbert Burns smoked him with a right, but he wasn't able to finish him off. And you said something about Usman that you're absolutely right. The guy, when he has his momentum going, man, he's unstoppable. And the later it goes into the rounds, the more dangerous this guy becomes. And you're right about Diaz. Diaz almost flattened out Edwards in that 5th. And you know what? That's not going to happen against Usman this time. It's 2022, a much better overall fighter, man. And his right cross that knocked out Masvidal is exactly what might happen to Edwards on Saturday night. Yeah, he's a bigger guy. He's got that 2-inch reach or whatever to get on Edwards. But let me tell you, man, this guy loves to strike, and he's going to show it again, man. It's going to be an interesting fight. But I think you said the key thing. It's that momentum. That momentum is what is going to be the key factor to this fight. It'll either go into a decision or it's going to be a stoppage. But it's going to be a rough ride for Edwards going into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, if he makes it there.
Leon Edwards has beat nobody except Vicente Luque in the top 10 in the UFC. The only top 10 fighter he's beat.
First round against Bilal Muhammad. I know it was a no contest in the end.
Yeah, but he won 1 round.
Yeah, but that's a fight I'd look at. Like, I'm picking Usman. Usman should win this. I think he should be a bigger favorite than he is. But if I'm going to say anything for Edwards, I'd say, like, look at that fight. Bilal didn't really try to make any takedowns on Edwards. So maybe that's the type of fight Usman ends up fighting, where Edwards, maybe he's a little bit bigger. So, you know, Usman doesn't manage to get the takedowns. And who knows, maybe Edwards could have some success striking. But no, I agree basically with your overall assessment. Both of you, I think Usman is probably also a better striker than Edwards. But if you're Edwards, man, that's your game plan. You got to keep it standing up and prove that you're the better striker. I got Usman. Listen, I think he's going to finish him, man. 25 minutes with Usman is long.
Yeah.
But Edwards really knocks people out. If you look at his statistics, man, he's only knocked out 6 out of 19 victories, man. So it's not a huge record. Yeah, he has to go for that decision.
Like, if he has success, it will be basically hitting Usman more than Usman hits him and staying away from the big shot. That's how Edwards could have some success, I think, on Saturday. But I got Usman. I'd be very surprised Usman loses this.
But let's just say what you said. If Edwards definitely starts winning in the striking game, you know that there's going to be a level change, and Usman is going to take this guy down, and that's going to be a success, the victory. But that's the thing with Usman. He could change the game at any point here, man. Stand up, he's phenomenal, and his wrestling game, man, is elite level, man. So it's gonna be an interesting night. Super chat. I don't think it's gonna go to a decision. I think Usman is weather this guy down to the point where there's gonna be a TKO in the future.
Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. He says, "Don't see an opportunity to win big on the main event or the co-main. Where do you see a lock to win?" Thank you for the 777. You're the super chat leader of the night so far, Patrick. Shout out to Patrick. I think a lock to win is the co-main event. Paulo Costa over Luke Rockhold, I think, is a guarantee. And you could parlay that with Miranda Maverick over Shanna Young. I think she is a guarantee to win as well. Unfortunately, that 2-fight parlay gives you basically nothing.
A little more than 20 cents.
Yeah, it's a little more than 20 cents, but honestly, not by much. $20 gets you like 29, 23. It's a pretty terrible parlay. But I think those two are locks. I think Paulo Costa and Miranda Maverick are both locks, but unfortunately, Costa's minus 385 and Miranda Maverick is minus 667. So, yeah. It's not a great card for money. Like, I was looking at this card and trying to figure out where I can make money, and I don't really know. I like, there's a prop. Paulo Costa, Luke Rockhold is a co-main event. I think we're all going with Paulo Costa to win because Luke Rockhold has been very inactive. He's 37 years old. He's lost a lot. He's lost 2 straight by knockout. He hasn't fought since 2019. And honestly, watching UFC Embedded, he seems a little jittery. I'm not sure how to put it. High? He seems high. I don't know. He seems kind of out there. I don't know what's going on with Luke Rockhold, but he doesn't seem like the Luke Rockhold I remember. Didn't he say he does mushrooms every day or something now? Wasn't that like a thing that Rockhold said? Luke Rockhold.
I'm not sure, man.
Luke Rockhold
with the mushrooms.
Yeah, he does.
It's his modeling career that he's on a high with. I don't know, man. That's
Luke Rockhold explains why he takes mushrooms in camp.
Okay, explain it.
I can't explain it. He says,
how does he get away with the testing, man?
He told Submission Radio, when do I use mushrooms? Like 4 days a week. I don't know, every day. I don't know. I take them when I run. You use them post-training. I use them for cardiovascular kind of focus training, I'd say. Then you just really analyze and digest what you're doing. It gives you perspective, a lot of perspective on your training. This is the first camp that I've really incorporated it. I've used it a little bit in the past, but never like this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. He's doing mushrooms every day. Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a Dave mushroom story, okay, kids? Don't try this at home. I once did mushrooms with my friend. Let's call him Schmerick. All right? All right? Let's call
Eric?
him what?
Eric?
Yeah, we can call him Eric if you want to. I mean, that's maybe his real name, but let's not say that it is. So he shows up to, and he gives me mushrooms, and we do mushrooms because that's what you do when you're a guy who does mushrooms as a, you're a teen, you're having fun. We do mushrooms, and we proceed to have to go and play soccer in a park with our buddy Paul. And we were playing soccer against these guys. It's like a pickup soccer game. And I feel like we're doing tremendous. I feel like I'm playing the best soccer of my life. And after about 2 or 3 hours of playing soccer, the guys leave, and I go, Paul, man, we were amazing. He's like, you guys were terrible. So all that to say is that sometimes when you're on mushrooms, you might think that your athletic performance is a little bit better than it is in reality. And I would worry about Luke Rockhold, man. I mean, he's obviously a better athlete than I am, but I don't think you should be doing mushrooms like every day. I don't know how many he's doing. Maybe he's micro-dosing and it's not so bad, but it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot. As a man who has done mushrooms in the past, I've not done them for quite some time. It feels like it's an excessive amount when you're doing it every day. Sorry, Fred.
You remember that Eminem song where he goes like, I never meant to give you mushroom girls. And the girl just started bad trapping.
She died in the end, didn't she?
I know.
Which doesn't really make sense because I don't know if that happened. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that can't really happen.
That can't really happen. You can't really.
I'm not sure.
I don't think. I've never heard of anybody overdosing on mushrooms and dying. I've heard of them like throwing
that was
up.
a funny song.
I've heard of them freaking out, but I've never heard like a mushroom OD killing you. I don't even know if that's possible because I've known people that have done a lot of mushrooms and never OD'd. So I don't know.
This is what scares me more from Luke Rockhold. I'm reading right now that he doesn't go over 190. Man, Paulo Costa is a big guy, man. Fight night, he weighs way more than 190. So that's gonna be a big issue for Luke. But hey, if he manages to get the fight up to the third round, maybe Costa gasses out. But not Costa should win. Costa's on my parlay. I got Usman on my parlay, and I got Aldo on my parlay. That's my parlay. I'm giving it to you right now.
Dave, I'm going to tell you something, man.
The mushrooms got in the way there. I didn't catch that whole parlay. Give it to me again.
Usman, Costa, Aldo.
That's a good parlay. I like it. Rockhold, I think, is getting knocked out. Here's a prop for you guys. This might be interesting. Total rounds, over 1.5, minus 124. Under 1.5, minus 105. I think there's good value on the under 1.5 rounds. I think this fight ends with the quickness. Luke Rockhold has been knocked out 2 times in a row. And when did those knockouts occur? Oh, second and third round. So he has survived, but I don't think he survives this one. I think he goes to sleep quick. I like Costa by knockout early, and that's a lock. But as Patrick is saying, locks but no payoff. And yeah, it's disappointing for that on the betting end. I don't see a ton of guaranteed money, but nothing's guaranteed. So I don't know.
But I'm going to tell you something. You might have a point because I was looking at what Bisping was saying. He was saying that he got some inside scoop and whatnot. And apparently, like Rockhold's coach said, that this guy's camp was really inadequate. So, I mean, we were looking at him at the pre-fight conference tonight. He looked like a young Eminem. In fact, he was getting dissed by Paulo Costa, saying, like, this guy thinks he's a teenager when he's an old man, and I'm going to fuck him up on Saturday night. And Costa looks great. So did Rockhold. Rockhold was showing his abs and everything, but he looked extremely skinny to me, man. He looked like, and I could tell you something. You're right about something. He looked nervous, but I don't know if it was nervous. He looked like he was like out of sorts a bit. He was like,
high.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, maybe he was high.
He was on shrooms.
Dude, you might have a point there. And man, I'm a huge Rockhold fan.
He does like.
He did look like
now that I read that about Rocco, I remember that quote going around about, yeah, I'm on mushrooms all the time. When he's saying 4 or 5 times a week, every day, whatever, it's like, oh, okay. This guy, I mean, he really likes mushrooms.
He loves his mushrooms,
I think he's high. I think he's going to lose unless mushrooms make you a super fighter, in which case maybe, but I don't think so. I think Rockhold loses for sure. For sure. Aldo taking on Merab Dvalishvili. Dvalishvili!
Genghis Khan.
Merab has won quite a few fights in a row here. He's on quite a roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights in a row, including a knockout of Marlon Moraes in his last fight. Jose Jr. Aldo, one of the greatest of all time, just 35 years old, which is kind of nuts considering how long he's been in the game, since 2004. Jose Aldo has won 3 in a row. I can't pick this fight. I don't know who's going to win. I'm for sure not putting it on my parlay. Fred, I know you got Aldo on your parlay. It makes sense to me because he's a slight underdog, and I could see Aldo winning, but I could also see Merab winning. I don't know. This is a toss-up fight for me. I'm going with Aldo. I feel like Aldo can get it done. I think Aldo can win by decision. He keeps it standing. He outstrikes Merab, and he wins. But I could also see Merab catching him and just putting Aldo's lights out. It's tough.
No, he wins by decision, Merab. It's all decision wins,
You think?
seems lately.
Yeah, you
I
never
don't know,
though.
man. His record looks a bunch of decisions.
Yeah, but let's not forget the beating from Peter Yan,
Aldo's
man.
not
Let's
gonna
not
lose to
forget
the guy
that.
that lost to Ricky Simon.
He might.
Ricky Simon is no joke, man.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
not,
good now. He's back in the family.
Yeah, man, he is.
He's the Simon again. He's not Simone anymore. He's a Simon. We've accepted him.
The Simon is back. But listen,
right.
man. Look, he looked good tonight at the conference, man. Aldo was looking good. He doesn't look like, what is he, 35 years old? He looks fantastic.
I got Aldo.
But so did Genghis Khan, man. Genghis Khan looked great. You know, it's going to be a tough one. This is a tough one to put on your parlay, but, you know, never forget what happened with Peter Yan. This guy's the same type of fighter coming up on Saturday night, so I think it's going to be the same result. It won't be a gruesome beating, but it could be close to a beating again for Aldo.
Any other fights on this card you're interested in? We're going to be doing the breakdown of the prelims after they take place Saturday night. We'll be live for the pay-per-view, for the watch-along. We got Wu Yunan taking on Lucy Pudilova. I don't know why that's on the pay-per-view. Tyson Pedro taking on Harry Hunsucker. Now, this is interesting. Just from a betting perspective, Harry Hunsucker, he's lost a couple in a row, but to some really heavy hitters at heavyweight. He's coming down to fight Tyson Pedro at light heavyweight. Hunsucker coming in plus 500, the underdog. Pedro minus 770, the favorite. He is a mega favorite, Tyson Pedro. And this guy's 30 years old. He beat Ike Villanueva in his last fight, but before that, he got knocked out by Shogun. And that was 2018 Shogun, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's had, like, double knee surgery, I think, at some point. Like, he's had a lot of injuries. He came back. He looked good in his last fight, but he's not fighting the best fighter. Hunsucker isn't a huge step up in competition, but it's still a dangerous fight that I think it could kind of things could kind of play either way. Hunsucker's got heavy hands. He's got a few knockouts on his record.
Dude, he's 7-5.
So?
He's 7-5 with 5 consecutive losses by knockout.
It's not 5 consecutive losses by knockout.
Five knockouts in his career. 5, yeah, sorry.
He's lost 2 in a row by knockout, but so what? 7-5 taking on 8-3. It's not like a huge difference, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying, but I don't know. 7-5 taking on 8-3. Tyson Pedro got knocked out by Shogun in 2018. Shogun. 2018. Come on, man. Should he be minus 770 favorite? I don't know. I think Hunsucker is worth a look because you could bet like $5 on Hunsucker and make some money. You know what I'm saying? Plus 500. I think there's value there. I think he is a good value underdog.
Yeah.
$5 wins you $30. $5 wins you 30. It's worth $5.
Pedro, 4-inch reach like advantage. You know, these guys. Somebody's getting knocked out in this fight. Look, you're right, man. It could happen that the sucker wins, but I think the sucker is going to lose on Saturday night. If Pedro doesn't win this fight.
He should win, too, because he's training with City Kickboxing. He's training with Israel Adesanya and that whole team. And that team is on fire right now. Adesanya, Volkanovski, that whole team right now from Eugene Behrman, the head coach there, is really running on all cylinders. But they did lose a title fight recently, right? They lost the flyweight belt. They were going for that. And the boy there, Kai Kara France, lost to Brandon Moreno, right? Okay. Let's get to the parlays. Fred already gave me his
Let's
parlay,
do it,
and
man.
he's coming up first. Fred's up first. He gave me a 3-fight parlay, and I remember it, so I'm going to give it to you right now. Freddie, Team Freddie. Uh-oh.
What happened?
I don't know. It disappeared.
Where did he go?
It disappeared.
Jesus.
Oh, there it is. There it is. I found it. Oh, there's George. Team Freddie.
Georgie.
There it is. What the hell? Come on, Team Freddie.
Anti-vax Georgie. Anti-vax Georgie.
All right, take it easy.
Whoa,
I don't want to.
Whoa, careful.
Let's not get into that, AJ. Could you take it easy?
Listen, man, I didn't put it on public viewing for no reason. I'm just saying.
But you're
Yes.
talking out of your hat right now. Like,
Yeah, you're
out
just
of your ass.
yeah.
even.
We gotta be specific. We gotta be a little clearer when you're talking about that. There was a video that Fred sent to us where there was a politician, a Quebec politician, who has a very fierce anti-vaccine stance. I think anti-vaccine
Fierce.
passport.
Vaccine
Or-
passport. He
Okay.
is vaccinated.
Oh, but there's no vaccine passport anymore here, anyways, right?
No,
It's
but
just
he's the only one that like he's more of the libertarian
Right,
type,
right.
You know, he's
And
a
George-
conservative.
yeah. But he's
Trained
like
with him.
George trained with him,
Did
and
you?
there's like some sort of video with this politician guy and George St. Pierre. And I just think it's weird because I don't think George should be in politics. There's no need for that. You know, there's no need for the brand. You know, Michael Jordan didn't do that. Derek Jeter didn't do that. George St. Pierre should be on that type of level. He doesn't need to be meddling with these politicians who are, quite frankly, fringe politicians that have no chance of winning or giving him any power. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
Yeah.
like this guy that George is training with is going to become premier of Quebec and all of a sudden George is going to get all this cool shit.
Yeah, Jordan was screwing Pippen. That's what he was doing instead of anti-vaccine, but that's okay.
What?
different
Okay,
story.
we're going to just get a Fred's parlay because you're just talking nonsense. I don't know what the
No,
fuck
no,
you're
no.
saying.
I'm talking. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Anyways,
Okay.
I'm not a big
Kamaru
Jordan
Usman,
Move on.
Kamaru Usman minus 385, Paulo Costa minus 385, Jose Aldo plus 108. Fred's parlay, $20 gets you 66.85. That's a
That's
Team
not
Fred
bad,
parlay.
not
It's a
bad.
3-fight parlay.
Not
It
bad.
is not too bad. Aldo Costa Usman. That's the Fred parlay. AJ, give me yours.
All right, man. I'm going with Usman for the win. This is a tough one for me to say, man, because you know I'm a big Rockhold fan. But you know what? Looking at the pre-fight conference, man, I'm gonna have to go with Paulo Costa. I think Costa is gonna end up winning this fight. Then I'm gonna go with Alexander Romanov if he's still gonna be on the card for that fight. I think King Kong is gonna hurt Tibura. He's just a beast, man. So that's going to be on my parlay. Then I'm going to go with – this is a tough one, too, because it could go either or.
Romanov
But I'm going to
Tibura
go –
is on the card. It's on the prelims. I like Romanov,
Yeah.
too. I think he wins. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm going to go with Mirab
Okay.
for the win over Aldo, which that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. And then I'm going to go with Tyson Pedro, man. I don't see the Hunt Sucker, being able to beat Pedro regardless of – what you think might be a possibility. If Huntsucker wins, man, and Harrison loses, man, you can make some good money.
That's right. So, is that it? 5 fights? Are you
Yeah,
good?
that's it.
Okay.
I'm good with the 5, bud.
So the Team AJ parlay. I don't know what the hell you're talking about tonight. Team AJ parlay has Kamaru Usman, Paulo Costa Henrique, Alexander Romanov, Merab Dvalishvili, and Tyson
like the
Pedro.
Philly?
$20 gets you $79.57 over at bet99.com. It's a 5-fight parlay from AJ. Pedro, Dvalishvili, Romanov, Costa, and Usman.
It's not great. It's
The value
not great,
is
but
not amazing.
It's possible. No.
It's not
But
amazing, but again, like this is
it's
a
gonna come out.
garbage card for value. It may come out, it may not come out, AJ. That's always
Listen, man, I'm pretty confident in all that, except, the Jose Aldo fight, man, it could go either or. But I'm pretty confident that if Aldo doesn't perform, in the first round, I think my card's going to win, man. That $78 is coming home.
okay. If you say so. I don't know. We'll see, AJ. We'll see.
Hey, man, I won last week on the main. Just saying.
You got one fight right, and you just
Hey,
bragging
man,
about
you
it.
went
I
all
don't
against me
understand.
about Cheeto. Cruz, you guys went against me on the whole Cheeto thing, man. I
Yeah,
told you
well-
guys, listen to AJ, man. Listen to AJ.
Well, if I listen to AJ every time, I'd lose a lot. I don't know. All right. Here's a parlay from Team Dave, and I think you're going to like it. It's not so bad. We're going with Paulo Costa. Obviously, he's a lock. Miranda Maverick. Obviously, she's a lock. And to spice things up and make it more interesting and give you some money, we're going to go with Qiling Ari. Arika Lang. $20 gets you $50. Okay?
That's not bad.
It's not great value like Fred and AJ's parlay, although it's you guys didn't have like huge underdog parlays either. Neither did I. Not a ton of value. Not a ton of good. You know what I mean? Like not good payoffs for this card. But I found a 3-fight parlay that I like quite a bit. Costa, Maverick, and Arikiling. $20 gets you $50 with a Team Dave parlay. Not bad.
Team AJ.
Yeah.
Angelo, listen.
Shut up, AJ. Angelo says, shut up, AJ. I agree.
It's about time, man. I was wondering. The show's almost over. Where the hell's Angelo, man?
He says, shut up, AJ. He's there. He's ready for you.
Yeah.
And that's it. Are we good? Are we done?
Yeah. Is there anything else?
I mean, we got to talk about me being your daddy, Dave, but that's all right.
Yeah. Fred, a lot happened at Jiu-Jitsu this week, right? So Fred and I trained Jiu-Jitsu at the Great 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu Montreal, and a lot happened this week. First of all, there was a lady who I think it was her second time training Jiu-Jitsu with us, and she came in and she asked me if I was Fred's son.
You gotta be kidding me.
I was nice to her.
What?
You were super nice to her.
And that's how she
And that, yeah,
says thank you.
I know.
Crushing me.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a crush for sure, man. How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Well, that's funny, man. Bravo, man.
And I told her, I
Too
was
much
like,
white hair in the beard, I think.
yeah, I think that's what
I
it was.
think so.
I'm clean
It's time to
shaven.
shave, Freddie.
I'm clean shaven because people were making fun of my facial hair on the wrestling show last Friday. I don't know if you remember, but AJ,
Yeah.
I think you were watching, right? They were talking about,
Yeah.
Dave's mustache and Dave's
It was
this
a
and
porn
Dave's
star.
that. Yeah. So after the show, I shaved right away because I was like, I don't want the guys in the chat making fun of me anymore. I'm shaving all my facial hair. Fuck these guys being mean to Dave on a Friday night. I don't need this bullshit. I'm shaving my face. So I came
Hey, I was
into
one of them.
Jiu-Jitsu on Monday, clean shaven, and Fred has, a little gray in his beard. So I could see how she might think, but like the difference in
Who's
age
your
between
daddy?
Fred and I is not enough for him to be my father. Like it's literally impossible for Fred to be my father. AJ is actually you are old enough to be my teen dad. Like you could have been a teen dad, AJ, and been my father, but Fred is like not old enough to have been my dad.
How old was she, by the way? Was she young? Super young?
No, she was about Fred's age.
What?
Your grandma, she said.
A little older than Fred, maybe a year or two
Come
older
on,
than
no,
Fred. But she was a grandmother too. She had 4 kids. I was like, oh my god.
Super chat. Super chat.
Oh wait,
Jesus.
that's not the funniest thing that happened this week, though. I think, in
No,
my
you gave
opinion,
me-
the funniest thing that happened is that on Tuesday, man, me and Dave were training, and this kid comes in and he wants to train with us, and I say, yeah, sure, train with us. So we spend like an hour training with him. After that, I roll with him, and once I finish rolling with him, I ask him his name, and he goes to me, Felix, and I'm like, oh, Felix, man. Like I've been training with him for a month at least, man, but when I don't have my glasses, man, I can't recognize anybody. Dave was a little bit like, what the fuck, Fred?
I couldn't understand what the hell was going on because we had just spent 45 minutes drilling, doing techniques and stuff.
Triangles, man. I had his face right here in front of me.
Yeah, he was
You sure
right
you're not
there.
doing shrooms, man?
We did all sorts of technique, and then it wasn't like the second or third roll. It was first roll after technique. They go and they pair off together, and Fred's like, oh, who are you again? And I'm like, Fred, you know this guy. We know this guy. What are you talking about? It was crazy.
Were you guys doing like a lot of like weed before, man? Because I'm telling you, man.
I always do weed.
A little bit. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought
That's
the
why, man.
The funniest thing that happened at Jiu-Jitsu, Fred, was when you elbowed me in the face. It gave me a black eye. Fred was angry, and he just went, bam, nailed me.
Sorry.
Ah,
But hey, wait.
Yeah, that was me
I
for
got
sure.
scars, like,
For
from
sure.
you.
What the hell's going on over there, man?
I don't know. You know, you get your
you
knee on
bite
the
him?
skin. You know, you kind
Dave
of
likes to step on my arm.
I step
fat.
on his arm. Yep.
Oh,
I do it on purpose
I
because
hate
I
that.
hate Fred and I like to attack him.
And
yeah.
say the rest of the
better.
good news. The good news, Dave.
We got a new blue belt.
Whoa!
Couple of new blue
Felicitations, man.
Thank you.
Man. Nice, man.
Overdue.
Now the journey begins, man.
Thank you. Got my blue belt today from the great Louis Ho. Super excited to get my jiu-jitsu blue belt today at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. My buddies Joe and Alan also got their blue belts. Congratulations to those guys, amazing jiu-jitsu guys. I'm in awe. I'm so happy that I was able to get my blue belt at the same time as those guys. I got so much respect for those guys as training partners and everything. They're so cool. And it's a great school, and I'm super happy. And thank you, Fred, for bringing me to 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. And it's been great, man. I finally got my blue belt, so that's really cool. And now, yeah, the real work begins. More work on the road to purple belt. I'm super motivated. I'm super excited. And, yeah, it was an exciting day, right? I mean, you only get promoted so many times in your jiu-jitsu life, so you got to celebrate, right? I was like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And there was a moment where I'm like, come on, man. Like, well, what do you get over it? It's just a blue belt. But then I was like, wait a second.
It's not,
you know,
Enjoy it, man.
I'm going to get a blue belt. I'm going to, you know, you get a blue, you get a purple, you get a brown, you get a black. And that's, you know, there's only so many times you get these belt promotions in jiu-jitsu.
I
And
think
relish the moment. I'm happy. I'm very happy.
I remember what Brock Lesnar said after beating Frank Mir. That's what I would tell you, man.
Can you
Go
see
for
me
it.
now?
No, isn't that the one where he says he's gonna get on top of his wife and enjoy it?
Fred, I have 2 kids, and I didn't get a vasectomy, so let's take it easy, all right?
Which fight was
Enough.
that? Was that the Frank Mir fight? I'm not sure, actually. It might have
yeah,
been the
I think
Randy
it was,
Couture one.
It might have been Randy Couture. I'm gonna go have a
When he
Bud.
became the
I'm gonna
champ.
go have a Coors Light because Budweiser doesn't pay me. That was amazing. Man, all these Budweiser ads, like right in the middle of the octagon. Brock's like, I'm gonna have a Coors Light because I don't get any money from Budweiser. Fuck that. And I might get on top of my wife tonight. Woo! And I was like, oh my god, Brock, crazy. That's Sable you're talking about. My god. Angelo Contagones says,
good for
great
you,
show.
Dave.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's cool, man. It's fun.
And people don't realize it. Like, it's not like any other belt, man. Like, to get like a blue belt in jiu-jitsu is like endless hours of nonstop pain, drilling, pain, and lots of pain, man. And people don't realize that. And it's just like, you know, I always said one thing in martial arts: if there's any one art that I'd be afraid of if they were a white belt, is jiu-jitsu, because a white belt in jiu-jitsu could fuck up a lot of guys as black belts, man. And I can say that, and anybody wants to challenge that, man, go ahead. But I can tell you something, man. Jiu-jitsu is never ending, man. And you know, you keep training and you train for life. And I'm happy to hear that there's, you know, grandmothers coming in and that kind of stuff. Anybody could do jiu-jitsu. It's just a matter of putting your time and effort into it and never giving up on the game, man. Because you know what? Helio Gracie was training till he was 98 years old, and he was training all the time. And he passed away like in his backyard, sitting on a chair. But before he passed away, he was still doing jiu-jitsu. And you know what? He still fucked up a lot of guys at 90. And, you know, I want to be like Helio, man. He's, you know, it's great inspiration. And the Gracie family, man, gave everybody really a gift. And you know, the gift
10
is
years, you're
not
going to
giving
be
up.
the same age, man. In 10 years, you'll be 90.
You'll
Listen,
be
man,
Helio's
listen.
age. You'll be there, Jay.
And you know what? I hope to be Helio's age. But one thing is, I want to be Helio's like conditioning, because the guy was unbelievable, man. Like, you know, it's amazing. And you know what? No matter what school you come from or what teacher you have, man, it all points right back down to you know, to Brazil, which is amazing.
And of course, Brazil, but also where we're coming from, Los Angeles, and the great Eddie Bravo. Shout out to Eddie Bravo. 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. It's a different brand of Jiu-Jitsu. It's a different system. There's all sorts of different stuff. And you see it in MMA. You see it in the UFC. The 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu people, when they go grapple with other people, they're doing things that the other people don't expect. And a lot of Jiu-Jitsu is your opponent not knowing what the hell you're doing. Like, if you can fool your opponent, like, that's how jiu-jitsu really gained popularity in the UFC. Guys were doing jiu-jitsu, and the guys that didn't know jiu-jitsu didn't know how the hell to defend it because they didn't know what the hell was going on. And what I love about the 10th Planet system is it has that element of, like, it's jiu-jitsu, but it's its own system of jiu-jitsu, and there are things that 10th Planet jiu-jitsu has that no other jiu-jitsu has, and it's confusing. You know, like, there's weird shit in 10th Planet jiu-jitsu, but I know, AJ, you're not a 10th Planet guy like Freddie and I are, so
no, and I'm
going
to tell you, like, straight up.
It's like, look, it's a weird like, it's weird, and there's different things in 10th Planet that I really like. I'm happy to be training in 10th Planet because it's like, it's a different, you know, it's a no-gi system. It's a different type of deal. It's cool.
Listen, man, listen, some of the best, like, no-gi, including Eddie Bravo, man, who came from gi as well, you got to understand one thing. Jiu-jitsu, depending on what type of jiu-jitsu you're doing, it's either jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu or jiu-jitsu for MMA. And that's where you got the edge, like, you know, in certain things that you can apply in MMA, because not all jiu-jitsu is going to work in MMA. It has to be jiu-jitsu for MMA. Just like wrestling, you know, incorporated into MMA. Like, you know, wrestling, you get an edge when it's geared towards MMA. The same thing for jiu-jitsu. So it really depends what type of jiu-jitsu you're doing. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of that stuff, like, you know, it's nothing new when you're looking at the Vale Tudo, like, of the years back, you know, when these guys started, like, you know, from jiu-jitsu into MMA. You know, a lot of this stuff, man, is, you know, really tight jiu-jitsu, like in Eddie Bravo, a lot of different names that they put into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it was the names are easy to remember. But yeah, and you know what?
York,
Listen,
London, man, I'm learning so much things.
Yeah, New York to London. I'm like, what? I don't know about this stuff.
No.
You know, I'm learning about all these crazy things. You know, we're doing dead orchards today. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, they're all names, but the thing is that trying to apply that into a fight, you know, and that's the real. That's
Juliana
the real puzzle
Miller,
there, man.
Ultimate Fighter winner, 10th Planet San Diego. She's damn good. And, yeah, I think it's great. Whatever jiu-jitsu you're doing, be it 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu or Gracie Baja, like our friend Glenn McKenzie, or AJ's Brazilian top team, you know, whatever you're doing, I think it's
the
great.
thing in Montreal, man. We got so many great coaches, man.
Yes,
AJ, you got
amazing.
a great coach. We got a great coach.
Yeah.
There's so many other ones. Glenn is a great coach. So many great coaches.
We're lucky in Montreal, and I was saying that to someone the other day. I said, like, Montreal as a hub, man, has some of the best combat teams. You know, not only in jiu-jitsu, you're talking karate, you're talking wrestling. We have the Montreal Wrestling Club, one of the best wrestling clubs in Canada. You know,
yeah.
David Zilberman,
Of course.
Victor Zilberman. You know, we've got, like, yeah, you talk about Fabio.
And
you
take
talk
it
about
back.
guys like
Take it back
George.
to
Pat,
the best.
You know,
The best
you know,
fighters in MMA history, right?
you know, the early days with
Where did
Angelo
they
at
like the best Canadian
you know,
MMA
Pancration?
fighters.
Come
We just
on.
talked about it, right? George St. Pierre, Rory MacDonald. Where did they train? Where did they fight out of?
I start.
well, no, at
Montreal.
TriStar, man.
Montreal.
Yeah,
All the
but-
best fighters in the history of this country have fought out of Montreal.
Sure, and there's so many guys that were, like, with them in that time. I can name you so many of them.
Of course.
You know, Potvin, you know, we look at Villeneuve. We look at so many guys, man, that were in the game that didn't get that shining moment, you know. There's so many guys that came out of Montreal. And that's the one thing, man. Montreal, man, is still a great hub for martial arts, no matter what, man.
And I know it every
Kickboxing-
time I go to the gym. I know that it's a great hub for martial arts every time I go to the gym and I get my ass kicked by a bunch of guys I've never seen before. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, look at all these guys. Everybody's so good at jiu-jitsu. Say
It's
it again,
amazing,
Fred.
man.
I was gonna say, but Dave, why do the Yankees suck?
I'm watching the game
Ooh.
right now as we speak. You know, it's like 9-2 Blue Jays.
9-2.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know why they suck. Because they can't hit. Apparently, pitching is bad tonight too. I don't know. Injuries, bullshit. I can't tell you. I'm very upset about the Yankees. I watch every game, and I've been getting more and more angry every fucking game.
Houston.
I mean, they're not even the best team in New York, man.
I know.
Mets got a better record.
Oh, I know. And when they played the Mets, they got destroyed. The Mets are better. Mets are better right now. It's not good. I'm not happy about it. I can't explain what's going on. It's been the hitting for the most part. Nobody's hitting. And, tonight the pitching wasn't there, but, that's going to happen once in a while. It's mostly been the hit. I mean, we only have 2 runs. When the pitching's not there, you got to back up your pitcher with some hits, and the Yankees only have 2 runs, which, quite frankly, is a lot considering what they've done over the past few games. They were shut out a couple of times. It's been ugly. I don't know. I can't tell you about the Yankees. It just makes me too upset.
New York, New York.
Yeah, they're not playing that song because that's the song they play at Yankee Stadium when the Yankees win. They played it last night. We won last night. A walk-off grand slam home run in the bottom of the 10th from Josh Donaldson. Yanks are down. Yanks come back, make it a 4-4 ball game. Top of the 10th inning, the Rays scored 3. I thought, it's over. Bottom of the inning, Josh Donaldson hits a grand slam. Yanks win in 10. But, when they're just kind of scraping by, getting these little wins off of luck, miracles, it's not looking good. They've lost, 11 of their last 14 or something. They're losing a ridiculous amount of games. It's crazy. It's crazy. They're going to let the division slip away. It's pissing me off. I got the game on in front of me right now, and it's been pissing me off all game, all show. But what are you going to do?
I mean, they're up by 10 games, man. If they lose the division, man, come on, man. If they lose the division, man,
they're up by 10 games on the Blue Jays, right? They're
on the Rays.
And are the Rays in second place now? It's not the Blue Jays?
They're tied.
Well, the Jays are playing the Yankees right now, and it's a 4-game stretch. If we get swept, 4 games, I mean, it's a race all of a sudden. If the Blue Jays win 4 games in a row here, and they beat the Yankees lose 4, Blue Jays win 4, they gain a bunch of ground, then all of a sudden it's a race for the division, which sucks, which shouldn't happen considering how good the first half of the season was for the Yankees. Since the All-Star break, they've been dog shit. They stumbled into the All-Star break, and since the break, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball. I don't know what's happening. Ugh. Why you got to bring that
Trade them all, man.
I was all happy. I got my blue belt. Let me put the blue belt back on. I'm all excited, AJ's got a brown belt. Fred's got a blue belt. Dave is in the club. Dave's got his blue belt. Let's leave on a good note. Angelo Contagona says, great show, guys. Have a great weekend. He drops a super chat. He's a super chat leader. Congrats, Dave. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you to everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Patrick C. Hamilton. 2 members, 2 super chatters. Thank you guys for joining us here tonight. Thank you, everybody else, for watching. Appreciate you. And I'll be back here with Freddie and AJ Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time for the UFC 278 watch-along. Reminder, no show tomorrow night because SmackDown is in Montreal. So Johnny and I will be attending SmackDown Live. We won't make it back to the studio to do the post-show, but we'll be back next Friday to talk all things professional wrestling. And that is it. We'll see you again Saturday night right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.